Hey, Don, I've got a question for you.
What you got, man?
What should a person do after a rideshare crash? Let's say somebody's a passenger in an Uber, Lyft, or maybe a Waymo vehicle.
This is a really good question because as these vehicles are getting more and more on the road, we're seeing more of these rideshare cases all over the place. Now, the first thing to do is if you're involved in any way with a car that is involved with Uber or Lyft, it's much the same as a normal car accident. You need to come out, get out as quickly as possible, and get to a place of safety. That should always be the primary caveat. Get out of the vehicle if you can. If you can't, get someone to help you out, assist you as much as possible, but get to safety before you get more injured than what you already are. The next thing you want to do is get out your phone, call the police, make sure the police are coming out. Next step is you want to start taking as many pictures and video as possible. Now, Texas is a one-party consent state. What does that mean? That means you can record video and audio of another person without their consent. You don't have to inform them or anything, and you wouldn't believe how many times people say some of the craziest things when you got them on camera. Even though Texas is a one-party consent state, and everyone should know that everyone's got a camera with them at all times. I've seen people admit to being at fault. I've seen people admit to have been drinking. You want that on camera because that's going to help your attorney be able to prove up your cases as well as possible. Now, whether or not you were the passenger in the Uber or you were in another vehicle that got into a crash with an Uber, you still need to get out and get all the information you can, including insurance information. If you're a passenger in the Uber, that's going to be Uber's insurance information. But we've had this happen way too many times where someone got into an accident with a vehicle that was being driven by an Uber driver and they didn't realize it and they just got their personal insurance information. That's not good enough. We want Uber's insurance information and you need to ask for it. Get that as quickly as possible. And in Texas, this is not optional. They need to give you that insurance information right away. Next thing you want to do, take pictures of your injuries and contact an attorney. Do not talk to any adjusters for Uber, Lyft, or anyone else because they've already got their own attorneys. They already got their own adjusters. They already got people fighting on their side.
I think that's all really, really good advice. The thing I think is important to understand about these rideshare cases and how they're distinct from a regular, ordinary personal insurance or personal car crashes is really the level of insurance. That in a personal car crash, most of the time you're probably dealing with a minimum policy, 30-60 policy, $30,000 available per person. That's what another driver might be carrying. These Uber cases or rideshare cases rather fall into a couple different categories. I mean, there may be a situation where you're a passenger in an Uber vehicle, or you may be another driver hit by somebody driving for Uber. And both of those cases, this crash was if it's the Uber driver's fault, then Uber's insurance policy, not the driver's personal policy, is available to you. But there are some sort of subtle details that may arise, and it depend on whether the driver was actually using their app at the time, whether they were sort of between rides, and to give Uber the opportunity to try to, sneak out of this, deny, liability or responsibility, or rather coverage for the claim because they don't. They may say, well, this driver wasn't actually working for us in that exact moment.
And I think it's important also to mention this. If you are the passenger in the Uber driver, get a screenshot. Okay. Do not rely on that information still being there. If you're in the vehicle and you are the one you're involved in the accident and you're the passenger, just take a quick screenshot on your phone. That way Uber can't say you weren't involved, you weren't using the app at the time.
Now what I've seen as far as coverage goes in these types of cases, now I may be wrong here, but I think what I've seen most recently is that Uber policies are about $250,000 for liability policy. So don't hold me to that with certainty. Maybe they change under certain circumstances, but I think that's what I've seen recently. In Texas, those values may change in other states. But I think in Texas it's about $250,000. But the unique thing about Uber policies is that they do not carry in Texas underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage. So if you're a driver of an Uber vehicle and you're hit by somebody else, just with a personal insurance policy, Uber's not going to help you out there. It's because they're not carrying uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. So it's a bad crash, and you're a driver for Uber, and it's the other driver's fault. That's the only policy that's available to you. So,
I hate to interrupt you. Sorry, Cameron. I think that's an excellent point to bring up, though. If you are an Uber driver, you may still also need an attorney. If you got hit by someone else, the company's not there to protect you. You need to make sure you get your own policy that'll protect you. I would speak to an insurance agent and make sure to get yourself a policy that'll cover you, because your personal policy, even if you have a UIF, will not cover you. You need a commercial driver's policy of some sort. Now, if you speak to an insurance agent, they're going to be able to get you that policy that'll make sure you are covered in the event that you are involved as a driver in an accident that's someone else's fault and they have bad coverage or no coverage.
Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of times folks will call their insurance company in order to, try to make their claim. And one of those first questions that they ask you, I mean, almost every time I think these days, is, were you driving for some sort of rideshare at the time? And so, their insurance companies are looking for that. They're wanting to make sure. And sometimes clients will say the wrong thing, thinking that they, shouldn't say that they were driving at the time, or they should say that they were, just to try to get the, not understanding the relationships between the policies and the contracts there. So I think an attorney can help you, get you the best information, give you the best advice, so that you're actually able to access what insurance policy is available to you. So obviously, the theme here is going to be speak to an attorney to help you out. And, that advice is coming up front for free. There's nothing that, there's no reason not to speak to an attorney, just to make sure that you're putting the best foot forward. No fee for that kind of information.
Free consults all the way around.